This is Nikhil Jariwala. Whenever I make a tackle, you're here on the King James Radio Network.
And this is the North Brunswick Raiders pregame show, otherwise known as Raiders Live on the King James Radio Network. Corbett Thompson here at jamesisking.com. And we are live at Steve Lebro Field here at the site of North Brunswick Township High School in North Brunswick, New Jersey, where tonight Raiders football is on the King James Radio Network. Just under a half hour from now, the North Brunswick Raiders will look to win their third straight game. Has not been done since 2010. They will try to do that here tonight when they take on the Hawks of J.P. Stevens in a GMC White Division matchup. It is homecoming night here at NBTHS, so a little bit of a special night. I see that the cheerleaders, they're decked out in the pink bows, the bright pink bows on top of their heads. So a little bit of a different feel, different atmosphere here for tonight's game. Again, it's homecoming night, so the Raiders will try to celebrate that with a Friday night win. J.P. Stevens, the Hawks, come in at 1-2 under head coach Joe Riggi in his second tour of duty with J.P. Stevens. This is his second year, the second time around. And J.P. Stevens coming off of a 28-7 win over JFK last week. So the Hawks looking to make it two in a row. And when you think about it, J.P. Stevens pretty much in a similar boat that the Raiders were in last week when the Raiders went to South Plainfield and beat the Tigers. J.P. Stevens started at 0-2. They won last week, and now they're looking to get back to 2-2 just as the Raiders were 1 week ago. The Raiders were successful in their endeavors, and J.P. Stevens hopes to be just as successful and crash the homecoming festivities here tonight. So with that being said, J.P. Stevens under sophomore quarterback Joe Young, and you just going by the numbers, I'm a numbers guy, so just going by the numbers, you would suspect that J.P. Stevens will definitely try to run the ball with Nadal Bunton, who is their featured back, along with Young, who can also run the football. So you figure, between those two guys, they're going to try to run the football here. And of course, Young can throw it as well. He's got guys, like Frank DeCerio, who's kind of an all-purpose guy. He's a running back. He can line up at wideout as well. So you have DeCerio, Matt Zranchev. You might hear his name a few times tonight. So they've got a couple of guys that they can get the ball to in space if they need to. But I would suspect that JP is going to try to run the ball as much as possible. But with that being said, of course, the Raiders under junior quarterback Christian Petrillo, sophomore running back Miles Bailey, who had a big game last week against South Plainfield, 206 yards with 2 touchdown runs of 66 and 55 yards, respectively, in the second half to push North Brunswick to a victory. So with that being said, of course, earlier today I had a chance to catch up with the head coach of Raiders football, Mike Cipot, and get his thoughts not just on last week's game, but this week's game, of course, as well, as the Raiders again go for their third straight win for the first time since 2010. Also, some other landmarks. Mike Cipot has a chance to become the first head coach since 1999 to go 3-2 in his first 5 games if he gets a win here tonight. So, a lot at stake in terms of just numbers, just statistical stuff. I'm sure Coach Cipot will take the win and run. But with that being said, I had a chance to catch up with the said head coach of the North Brunswick Raiders, Mike Cipot, and talk to him about this week and what's ahead. Here is that segment right now.
We are here with Raiders head coach Mike Cipot, game number 5, North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens, homecoming night, and so it's been a big week around the school. And, Coach, last week, 28-10 over South Plainfield. I think I asked you this after the Carteret game, so I'll ask you again. Was that the most complete game that you saw this year from your guys?
If you ask any other coaches, they'd probably say yes. I'm too hard on the whole team and the program. No, I was actually, my message tonight was I want the most complete game, but it was pretty darn close. The defense is still running the football well, making nice hits. I wish we got a little more takeaways than we're getting, but that I think will come in due time. I think the offense had a nice breakout game, and again, they could do that. They could get in the end zone 4 or 5 times a game, and we're hoping that for tonight. And the special teams is always going to continue to do well. They're well coached. Coach Moore does a great job with them, and we'll see.
Speaking of breakout games, that brings me to Miles Bailey, over 200 yards last week, a pair of touchdowns in the second half to put the game away. How do you continue to challenge him in practice and, help him to get better?
The theme for him is just to come out and keep doing his job. You come out, it's got to be businesslike. You put your hard hat on, you get out there, you go through your individual, you go through unit, you go through inside run, whatever Skelly we do, and then team, and he's going to know that he's going to build off of every practice and every rep that he gets, and he understands that. He's a he keeps his mouth closed. He does his job. That's the great thing about Miles, and we're lucky to have him on our team. And he's a tremendous player. He's a tremendous game time guy. Like he always comes to play, and you would never know that because the kid doesn't really talk. But you could see him, all the work that he puts in shows on the field.
You mentioned special teams a moment ago, of course, led by your punter, Aaron R. The game last year against South Plainfield, as you remember, field position was a huge factor. You really never let South Plainfield, get off the ground except for that one touchdown. You never really let them get off the ground. How big was the special teams?
That was one of the first things I mentioned when we had our film session the next day. I said, you know what? I said our field position was the biggest turnaround in this game, that we kept them down towards their 20, and I said that I don't think the kids realize how important that is, but that's why we stress the importance of all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. They got to go 80 yards and not 50. So that yards, and football is a game of inches, and if you can get as many yards that they have to take to get it to the end zone, it helps. And if they maybe mess up a punt or a snap and this and that, we get the ball closer to the end zone. So it's so important that, and we stress it every day. We put a lot of time and practice in it, and it shows on the field.
Talking with Raiders head coach Mike Cipot as we get ready for North Brunswick and JP Stevens. 4 games in now, 2-2. So you're at the halfway mark of the 8 games that you need for state playoffs. You're a school teacher. Put your teacher's hat on for a second. What would you grade yourselves?
Oh, man. In terms of wins, our goals are still in front of us, and we are where we want to be. If I had to give a grade, I would maybe say a C or a B. It's not quite an A, and maybe it never will be because that's how hard I am on these guys. But when the season's said and done, we'll look back and be happy about what we did. But we can't. Our theme again this week was we can't be satisfied with 2. We got to keep going, moving on. We got JP Stevens. That's all we're thinking about right now.
Speaking of which, their quarterback is Joe Young. He's a sophomore. I see his 1 touchdown to 4 interceptions. Does that kind of lead you to believe that they're going to try to run the ball here, and that's where your run defense comes in?
I feel like JP Stevens is much improved. I think that quarterback brings a little bit more of a balance to their offense. I know last year they relied on the option a lot. I think with the kid Young, they still have the option, but now the kid can roll out and throw the ball, which kind of throws not really a wrinkle, but I just feel like there's more of a balance to this JP Stevens teams other than the ones in the past. And we got our work cut out for us. We got to stop them, and we got to make sure no one gets open. We got to pressure them like we have the last 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens.
They scored 28 points last week against JFK. Do you feel like you guys offensively can get into a yard for yard, toe to toe, point for point shootout with another team, or do you feel like you're not there yet?
For my health and my heart, I hope not. But that's a challenge for our offense. We have the athletes and the coaches that are coaching the offense that we could score every time we have the ball, and heck, I would love that. But sometimes it doesn't go that way. Football's not perfect, and you get what you can get. Defensively speaking, again, like I said, we got our work cut out for us. We did great in the last 2 weeks, but it means nothing tonight. We got a new game, we got a new offense. We're doing different things. We got to hold them, keep them out of keep them in bad field position, pressure this quarterback, stop the run, and then hey, hopefully we score more points.
Any special plans for homecoming tonight?
One of the guys on our team's getting crowned, but I won't mention his name. But hopefully we have a nice lead at halftime where he can go and enjoy it.
He doesn't have to worry about adjustments and all that good stuff. Yep, Raiders head coach Mike Cipot. It's homecoming. Raiders and JP Stevens. Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck out there.
All right, thank you.
That was Raiders head football coach Mike Cipot, and you heard him in our pregame interview, talking about tonight's game. And I think, and see, I learned my lesson from the last several weeks about running back here. So I walked back here this time, so I have a little bit more, under my breath. But with that being said, I think for tonight, he mentioned, just about playing good defense. And Mike Cipot calls the defense. So that's going to be his staple. That's going to be his bread and butter, is on the defensive side of the ball, making sure that everything's straight. So with that being said, we'll talk a little bit more about that on the other side of the break. Coming up after the break, you'll hear from Sean Berhini junior tight end and linebacker for the Raiders, about he's in our Raiders spotlight, talking about tonight and about the season as a whole and everything else. So we'll talk to Sean Braheny. We'll have this date in Raiders football history. We'll do all of that coming up in just a little bit. This is your Raiders Live pregame on the King James Radio Network. We come back to Raiders Live on the King James Radio Network. Raiders football presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association at nbbsa.com. Also presented by Route 1 Dental at rt1dental.com. Call them up, 732-940-0222. And that's for Route 1 Dental, 2229 Route 1 South in North Brunswick, New Jersey. All right, as we continue here on Raiders Live, and again, we have this date in Raiders football history still to come, but I had a chance earlier today to catch up with Sean Braheny, junior tight end and linebacker for the Raiders. Sean has, caught a few passes this year, and so making his mark, trying to make his mark, as one of the better Raiders right now. And so, had a chance to catch up with him and talk to him a little bit about the season and how the season's been going so far. The Raiders are at the halfway mark of the regular season, the first 4 games at 2-2. So these last 4 games will determine their fate as far as the state playoffs are concerned. Personally, I think this game here against JP Stevens, you'll have to forgive me if I mix up those, because they both start with J and they both wear green, so I get them mixed up all the time. But JP Stevens, as far as this game, I think this game could be the hardest one of the 4 that they will face here. They have JP Stevens tonight, and then JFK next week in Iselin, and then a bye week, and then they go to Perth Amboy, and then finish up the regular season at home November 3rd, senior night against Woodbridge. So this is actually the Raiders' only home game in the month of October. So obviously it puts more importance on tonight's game. But had a chance to catch up with Sean Braheny, get his thoughts, and you will hear that right now.
Here with Sean Braheny in his junior year as the Raiders get ready here for JP Stevens on homecoming, as North Brunswick now 2-2 after an 0-2 start. And so for Sean, 2 straight games now you guys have won. Do you feel like you guys are gaining more and more confidence here over these past couple of games?
Yeah, I'd say we're gaining more confidence. We're going out there ready to win a game, and we, as Coach says, we learned how to win. Now we just got to keep our heads straight and keep going. The next game's the most important one.
Where do you feel like you're at right now, in terms of your game and what you're able to do?
Well, there's a lot of improvements from last year. A lot of stuff I had to work on in the off season, and as a team, we've been working hard.
Do you feel like you've always you made a lot of tackles last year, but do you feel like you made an improvement in certain areas, more than others?
Getting off blocks, I'm a little quicker getting off blocks. Still need a little bit of work though. I just go out there and I got a little bit more confidence this year because I played it before, but I'm ready to go.
And offensively, making some plays there, made some catches. Do you feel like you and Chich are on the same page right now?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we get like that 3rd, 4th down. We need first down, 5-6 yards. I'll do that. It's my job.
And of course, those touchdown catches don't hurt either.
No, they don't.
Is the goal, especially on defense, to try to be a complete player, or do you try to just focus on one thing and just be good at that?
More likely a complete player. You got to do what your team needs you to do. My job is outside contain, make sure nothing gets outside me. Every play I work at that and go from there.
Homecoming tonight, does that make it any different than any other game?
Yeah, a lot more energy, probably be a lot more people there. Real excited about all the festivities that were going around the school. I feel a little bit more pressure to win, but that's all right.
You guys will be over 500 if you win tonight. Is that a goal that you guys had in mind before the season?
Well, the goal is to win every game we get, each week. Right now, it's to get 3-2, and we'll go from there.
All right. And you're a junior, so being a part of that junior class, you have Chich and a lot of other guys. Do you feel like, as the juniors, that it's your responsibility to follow the lead of the seniors and kind of guys like Straminsky and Rossman and guys like that, Alderman, the seniors? Do you feel like as juniors you kind of follow their lead, or do you carve your own path?
A little bit of both. Those guys, had a rough past 2 years with the way the season went. We're really just trying to get the wins for them. But we kind of pave our way for next year.
And obviously, you just said win as many games as you can this year. Do you do you look more? Did you look more forward to this year? Or do you look more forward to next year? Because next year you'll be a senior. It'll be senior night will be your night. So how do you keep all of that out of your mind and just focus on that next game?
It's hard to think about it for right now. Think about next year. This year, we really just want to get to the playoffs, make a statement.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, I think you guys are a couple of wins away. If you can, 2 or 3 wins, and you guys should get in. Is that something? It's been a while. It's been 6 years since state playoffs. So is that, if you do make it, do you feel like that kind of sets a benchmark for next year and beyond?
Yeah, if we do it this year, we got to do it next year. We got a lot of guys returning. All the linebackers are pretty much coming back. A couple guys in the D line. We got a lot of young guys working hard.
Sean Brahini, as we get ready for J.P. Stevens tonight, and a little bit into the big picture and beyond, but of course tonight is the main focus. So, Mr. Brahini, thank you, and good luck out there, all right?
Thank you.
There you hear from Sean Brahini as we get ready again for North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. Both teams in their respective locker room areas right now. The referees are out at midfield, and so we'll be ready to go here in just a little bit. I'm assuming we'll have a clock official up here shortly. But North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens, homecoming night. I see the cheerleaders have the banner all ready to go. It's funny, you put all that work into the banner, and just for the guys to run through it and tear it to shreds. But of course, Ashley Doyle and Nella Ruiz, the cheerleading coaches for the Lady Raider cheerleaders. And so, you heard Sean Brahini there. And, he's a guy that, certainly on the defensive side has made an impact here on this Raider team over the last couple of years. He's made a lot of tackles. Second on the team in tackles with 23, only behind David Straminsky, who has 26 tackles on the season. So that is our Raider Spotlight. So we'll give you this date in Raider football history, and then when we come back, we'll have some keys to the game here for tonight. North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. The Raiders looking to go to 3-2. They're trying to get over 500 for the first time since the 2000, I want to say the 8th game of the 2011 season was the last time the Raiders were over 500. They were 5-3 in 2011, lost their last 2 games to drop to 5-5. So technically they were 5-4 the last time the Raiders were over 500 back in 2011. So they're trying to accomplish that tonight. First 3-game win streak since 2010, and first back-to-back wins at home since 2010 as well. So we'll take our break, and we'll have this date in Raiders football history. We'll come back with keys to the game in a moment. This is Raiders Live on the King James Radio Network.
We bring you to another edition of This Date in Raiders football history. And this date, October 6th, we go back to 2001, where the Raiders defeated Monroe barely by a score of 14-13, as Monroe scored a touchdown with 7 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter to bring it to a 1-point deficit, but Monroe would end up botching the extra point to give North Brunswick the 1-point victory. Quarterback Crimson Marrero had a touchdown run, also Leon Molina with a touchdown run, Marrero from 3 yards, Molina from 11, to improve the Raiders to 4-1 in that 2001 season. As we take a look back at the 1992 North Brunswick Raiders commemorating the 25th anniversary of their division championship, in 1992, Week 5, which would be October 23rd of 1992, the Raiders defeated JFK by a score of 14-6. 2 field goals from Craig Rubenstein helped out, but Darrell Banks had a 68-yard touchdown run, and Marquise Henwood recovered a fumble in the fourth quarter to help North Brunswick win that game. That is this date in Raiders football history. We'll be back with more of Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
This is David Straminsky. Raiders football is on your radio at jamesisking.com.
Back to Raiders Live here on the King James Radio Network. Corbett Thompson here at jamesisking.com as we get ready for North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens here tonight from Steve Lebro Field. And again, the Raiders trying to get to 3-2, get over the 500 mark for the first time since 2011. It looks like somebody's coming towards the field, so we'll figure that out here in just a second. The choir. All right. So, yes, the choir coming to sing the national anthem, it looks like. Yep, they're making their way towards the microphone there to sing the national anthem. So, real quick, keys to the game. Defensively, the Raiders obviously, to try to force some turnovers here. I think there will be some opportunities for some turnovers here. The Raiders have to know when and where they are and to take advantage of them. So, I think the Raiders will, on defense, try to force a couple of turnovers there from sophomore quarterback Joe Young of J.P. Stevens. So look for that as a key to the game. Miles Bailey, obviously one of the bigger keys. Bailey had 206 yards last week with a pair of touchdowns. So, obviously you want to keep him going. Christian Petrillo, I think one of the keys will be his mobility. He's been dealing with a bum ankle for the last several weeks. So how is his mobility? Can he scramble? Can he roll out? That type of thing. Chich has converted some big third downs this year for the Raiders. Can he continue to do that, with a hampering injury? One more key to the game will be the second half. The Raiders finished strong in the second half last week. And that can be the difference sometimes. It was the difference in the game against Colonia when Colonia scored 21 points in the fourth quarter against North Brunswick. How do the Raiders respond in the second half? It's a warm night here. Going to be a little bit humid. Keep the fluids and everything going. So how do the Raiders respond in the second half? It's fighting against fatigue and that type of thing. So those are your keys to the game tonight. And so we look forward to that. So again, the North Brunswick Choir, ready to sing the national anthem. J.P. Stevens making their way out onto the field. So we will take our last break here and conclude our Raiders Live pregame. And when we come back, we will have our live game coverage, North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens live here at Steve Libro Field. This has been Raiders Live on the King James Radio Network.
This week at Restoration Place, Scars by Minister Thomas Gilbert.
Sometimes we're not going through things because of something that we did wrong. Sometimes it's just a test. Can you suffer with me? Can you find the fellowship in this suffering? Will you still be there with me, or do you just want me for the stuff?
Restoration Place, every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern at jamesisking.com.
Dana and Lisa here from Our Turf Football to tell you that the Our Turf podcast is up and running for the 2017 football season.
Did you know that women make up over 45% of all NFL fans and counting? Here at Our Turf, we have our own take on what's happening around the National Football League with special features, previews, reports from our official fan reporters covering each team, and interviews with players and personalities who have the scoop on what's happening. Women are in the know when it comes to football, and it's time the rest of the world knew it too.
Our Turf Football is every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
Your radio home for North Brunswick Raiders sports, Timothy Christian basketball, Restoration Place, Wednesday night with NFL Female, the Jersey Basketball Association, and more is the King James Radio Network.
This is David Straminsky. Raiders football is on your radio at jamesisking.com.
Play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
There you hear from the North Brunswick Choir, the North Brunswick Township High School Choir, singing the national anthem. And with that, it is a pleasant Friday evening to one and all, and we welcome you to Steve Libro Field at North Brunswick Township High School, where tonight Raiders football in its 7th season on the King James Radio Network, as the Raiders take on the J.P. Stevens Hawks in a GMC White Division matchup. North Brunswick in their home jerseys wearing the blue with the white numbers trimmed in gold, blue pants, and the blue helmets with the double stripe in gold, and the player jersey number on the side of the helmet. You will see captains Amir Alderman, David Straminsky, Tyler Hernandez, and Alex Rossman heading out to midfield for North Brunswick. JP Stevens, they are in their white jerseys with the green letters and numbers, or green numbers, white helmets with white pants. The S, the insignia being the S for Stevens on the side of the helmet. Some of the guys for Stevens I see wearing pink socks. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so keep that in mind. And perhaps the cheerleaders with the bright pink bows on the top of the head, aware of that as well. So we have the coin toss here. Raiders have won the coin toss 3 of the first 4 weeks and have deferred to the second half each time. So we'll see what they do if they win it here. But yeah, I think the Raiders, and of course in any game you want to start fast and start early. But Mike Cipot trusting his defense in the first half of these games. So the referee showing the coin, he flips it up in the air, it hits the NB logo at midfield. He's looking at the Raiders' side, so it looks like, well, we'll wait for the official call here before we determine. Looks like the Raiders have won the toss. They will defer, as they have the previous 3 or 4. They will defer.
The Raiders have won the toss and will defer until the second half.
So JP Stevens will get the ball first, and they will move from right to left. So we're just moments away from the opening kick here, North Brunswick and JP Stevens. And again, if the Raiders win, they will put them over the 500 mark for the first time since 2011. It will be their first 3-game winning streak since 2010. It will be the first time since 1999 that a Raiders head coach has started 3-2 in his first 5 games. Mike Cipot, of course, assisted by his brother John Cipot. Nick Cipot roaming around here somewhere. He's up there. Yeah, he's up there in the tower. The offensive coordinator is Pushawn Brown. Of course, the assistant coach is Joe Aloya, and the emissary Joe DePayne, who is the liaison, if you will, to the younger levels. So Aaron R. will kick things off here at his own 40. 3 men back deep for JP Stevens. Looks like Nadal Bunton is back there on the far side. Bunton is the guy you probably have to watch if you're Stevens, so we'll see, exactly how that pans out. But Aaron R. is set to kick it from left to right, and a line drive kick, and it'll be caught at about the 12-yard line, going over to the far side, 15-20, and tackled at about the 25 on the return. Was number 13 for JP Stevens. That would be Jesse Shaluli. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Ball standing at the 35-yard line. So decent field position here for JP Stevens. Sophomore quarterback Joey Young will take the snaps here for Stevens. And he'll go ahead and work out of the shotgun here on 1st down. He'll go ahead and pitch it, coming over to the near side, but not getting much of anywhere because of Quanadolo.
Tackle for a loss of 2 yards.
Is number 1 for JP Stevens, Quyon Muse. So Dolo on the stop, loss of 4, and it's 2nd and 14 at the 31-yard line. Our game time temperature is presented by the Weather Channel. We'll get to that after this next play. But it's 2nd and 14 from the 31. Muse is in the backfield to the right of Young. And out of the shotgun, Young takes the snap, rolls right. He'll throw it right towards the sideline, and it is intercepted, or no, almost. Sean Brahini almost picked it off his hands. Brahini jumped that route and almost had it. And it'll be 3rd down. 3rd down and 14 from the 31. Partly cloudy skies, 74 degrees at game time. Ball will be placed on the left hash here to the near side. 3rd down and 14 from the 31. 2 wide receivers right for Stevens. Muse in the backfield next to Young. Young will work out of the shotgun once again, takes the snap, rolls right, looking. Here comes Straminsky, throws it right, and it is incomplete. Collision by the near sideline. Amir Alderman on the coverage. Pass was intended for Dan Resigliano, number 80, but Alderman knocking it away. So a 3 and out here for Stevens. So 4th and 14 from the 31-yard line. Amir Alderman back deep for the Raiders. He will stand at his own 40. So J.P. Stevens will punt this away. Punting for Stevens is number 67, Gaetano Nigro, who is a senior rather. He's a senior, and he's the center normally. Gets this away. Alderman makes a fair catch at the 41. And so the Raiders will have it there, 1st and 10 at their own 41-yard line. So 1st down and 10 for the North Brunswick Raiders from their own 41-yard line. Junior quarterback Christian Petrillo is under center. Petrillo, 283 passing yards on the year, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 132 rushing yards with a touchdown as well. So Petrillo will work out of the shotgun here with Miles Bailey to his left. Takes the snap and hands off to Bailey. Stiff arms a man going right and gets to about the 43-yard line before Sergey Kim makes the tackle. Bailey so far having a very good year with 512 rushing yards. Gain of 2 for Bailey, 2nd down and 8 from the 43. Alderman lined up wide to the left. Bailey to the right of Petrillo, out of the gun, low snap, hands off to Bailey, goes off left tackle, 45 to about the 48. And he is brought down there. Number 56, Jared Martinez, one of the guys on the stop for J.P. Stevens. If I'm correct, I believe it was Martinez that recovered a fumble against the Raiders last year. So ball is at the 48, 3rd and 3 now. Petrillo out of the shotgun, takes the snap, rolling left, looking, throws it far side. He's got a man, completes it for 1st down. Amir Alderman on the catch. Over at the far sideline, he steps out of bounds. And so they will spot this at the 42-yard line. It looks like good enough for North Brunswick 1st down at the J.P. Stevens 42-yard line. The Raiders like to work up tempo in a hurry-up offense. 9:15 to go in the 1st quarter, no score. Alderman in the slot right, trips to the right. 5 wides for the Raiders. Empty backfield, Petrillo. Now Bailey comes in motion and hands off to Bailey here to the near side. Cuts it back up the middle and gets to about the 38 before Jared Martinez and others bring him down. Matthew Zranchev also on the stop for Stevens. So ball will be spotted at the 38. So a gain of 4. You're looking at 2nd and 6 now from the 38-yard line. So the Raiders on the move here on this opening drive. From the 38, 2nd and 6, Petrillo out of the shotgun. Bailey in motion to the far side and keeps it himself after faking it to Bailey. Spins out of a tackle, bumps into a man, still going. Gets to about the 31, does Christian Petrillo. So some tough yards for Petrillo there. Zranchev again on the stop for the Raiders. And Petrillo gets a Raiders 1st down. So ball spotted at the 30-yard line. Gain of 8. 1st and 10 from the 30. With 8:30 to go here in the 1st quarter, no score here. Bailey to the right of Petrillo. Alderman slot left out of the gun. Petrillo takes the snap, drops back, looks, throws it right, and incomplete. Intended for Manny Herrera. Jesse Shaluli on the coverage for J.P. Stevens. That brings us to 2nd and 10 from the 30. Herrera, who is a junior, has caught some passes for the Raiders this year. So 2nd down and 10 from the 30. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey on the draw, and gets a couple of yards. That's going to be about it. Number 5, Junior Mersola on the stop for J.P. Stevens. Marked at about the 27, it looks like. Yep. So Bailey gained a 3. 3rd and 7 from the 27. Christian Petrillo looking to the sideline at offensive coordinator Pushawn Brown for his next play. Clock running, 7:53 to go. Here in the first quarter, no score. Bailey to the left of Petrillo, trips to the right. Here on 3rd down and 7 from the 27. Petrillo out of the gun, and this drops the ball, fumble after a busted play. Looked like that was supposed to be a handoff, but Petrillo falls on it at about the 28. So looks like a loss of 1 there. And that'll bring up 4th and 8 from the 28. Now the Raiders will have to make a decision on what they want to do. Looks like they're going to go for it. 7:12 to go in the first. Empty backfield, 5 wides. Bailey lined up slot left. Petrillo out of the gun. Bailey comes in motion now to the near side. Petrillo takes the snap, drops back. Here comes the rush. And Mersola chasing him. Petrillo throws it. Deep ball, right side. Enzo's got a man. Can he stay in bounds? He caught it, but he is out of bounds. Amir Alderman on the catch. But the ref rules that he was out of bounds on the right side, the near side here of the end zone. And so the Raiders will turn it over on downs. Alderman was wide open, but ball was just thrown too close to the sideline. And so the Raiders turn it over on downs. And it'll be 1st down, J.P. Stevens from the 28. So Joey Young out of the shotgun. Quyon Muse will take the handoff here. Off tackle right. Gets to about the 30, but that's about it. The heavies on that defensive line for the Raiders. Tyshawn Parson on the stop. Gain of 2 for Muse. It'll be 2nd and 8. So clock runs. 6:22 to go in the first quarter. No score here. Young with Muse behind him in the backfield on 2nd down and 8. Has the hands together, calls it, takes the snap, and Muse breaks off a right tackle, and he's got room to run right down the middle, 50, 40, and he is tackled at the North Brunswick 30-yard line by Amir Alderman, saving the touchdown. Quyon Muse found a hole right up the middle and ran through it. Big gain for Muse to the North Brunswick 29. So that's a gain of 39 for Muse. And it'll be 1st and 10, J.P. Stevens. 5:55 to go in the first. 2 wide receivers left for the Hawks. Young out of the shotgun and now coming in motion. This is Nadal Bunton coming in motion, but Young will keep it himself. Cross the 30 to about the 28. J.D. Marcellus along with Tyler Hernandez on the stop. So J.P. Stevens in business here. 2nd down. Gain of 1, we'll call it. 2nd and 9 from the 28. With 5:25 to go here in the first quarter. No score. 2 wide receivers here for the Hawks. Young will work out of the shotgun, takes the snap, and fakes the handoff, goes right to the 25, and he is tackled there on the far side, right in front of the numbers. Looks like Samud Wingo among others on the stop. So gain of 3, 3rd and 6 now. With 4:38 to go in the first. 2 wide receivers left. And taking the handoff, and this will be a handoff, taking the handoff coming to the near side was Bunton. Nadal Bunton. Looked like, I believe that was Straminsky on the tackle there. So ball spotted just inside the 28-yard line. So if I'm correct, we'll call it 4th and 8 from the 27. So J.P. Stevens now has to make a decision. They're going to go trips right here, including Zranchev in the slot. So 4th down and 8. Young out of the shotgun, Muse to his right, takes the snap, rolls right. Looking, he's going to throw it right side, end zone, and knocked away by Miles Bailey, incomplete. And so J.P. Stevens turns it over on downs. And the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line with 3:34 to go here in the first quarter in a scoreless game. So Christian Petrillo, this time a split backfield. And now Bailey will go in motion, takes the snap, and will dump it here to Brandon Outlaw, but he's going to be wrapped up immediately at the 25. Couple of defenders there for the Hawks. Brandon Outlaw, the junior, had that key interception in the victory over Carteret a couple of weeks ago. So 2nd down, Petrillo out of the gun this time. Will hand off to Bailey, side steps to the right, gets to the 30, and is tackled there. Right at the 30-yard line at the numbers. It looks like Frank DeCirio was on the stop there for the Hawks. So they'll spot this at the 31. Oh, we got I couldn't tell if that was holding or a personal foul. We'll see where they spot this. It's on the Raiders. They're going to move this thing back. It looked like personal foul. Ball is spotted at the 16-yard line. So you're looking at 2nd and 21. And now we get whistles here. So officially 2nd and 22 from the 16 with 2:53 left to go here in the first quarter. Petrillo, empty backfield, will work out of the gun and takes the snap, and he'll go ahead and throw it. Deep ball for Bailey here, and he's got it! Miles Bailey at the 50-yard line trying to shake off his man, and he will be tackled at the J.P. Stevens 48. Bailey had his defender draped all over him, but it looks like it's going to come back. So a great catch by Bailey, but it's for naught. It'll come back. And it looks like another holding penalty against North Brunswick here from the spot of the foul. It'll be half the distance to the goal line. The foul at the 18-yard line, so they'll bring it back to the 9. To the 8. So to the 8-yard line. So, yeah, you're looking at close to, 2nd, almost 30.
2nd and 30.
With 2:40 to go in the first and no score. So Petrillo will take the snap, hand off to Bailey off tackle left, and will make his way to about the 13-yard line.
Bailey on the 5-yard run.
Before he is brought down there. DeCirio on the tackle. That's what I'm thinking. Did I miss it down somewhere? I thought it would be third down, but it was an accepted penalty, so I figured it would be still second down. It should be third down, but apparently it's fourth down, and the Raiders will punt. Aaron R. set to kick, and line drive kick gets this one away, and it will take a bounce, picked up by J.P. Stevens, and that would be returned we get flags everywhere. Returned inside the 40 by Devin Folks. So we'll see what the flags are. Face mask against the Raiders. So that's the third penalty in the matter of seconds here, called on North Brunswick. Ball is at let's see where they bring it to. This will be a 15-yard face mask after the return from Folks. So J.P. Stevens will start on the North Brunswick 21-yard line. A minute 54 to go in the first quarter. No score, but Stevens on the move. 1st and 10 on the Raider 21. Young will work out of the shotgun. Muse behind him. Takes the snap and keeps it himself. Trying to go left here, and he'll be brought down at about the 15 by Alex Rossman. So Joey Young on the run. So yeah, ball spotted at the 15, gain of 6. You're looking at 2nd and 4 from the 15. A minute 30 to go in the first. So we'll see if Stevens can punch it in before the end of the quarter, or will they just go ahead and let it run out? Probably. I don't think they're in any big hurry. 2nd and 4 from the 15. Quyon Muse in the backfield next to Young, and now we're going to get a timeout. Timeout, J.P. Stevens. With a minute 4 to go in the first quarter, no score, North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. And we'll take our break here, and we'll come back to Steve Lebro Field in just a moment with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. All right, we come back off the timeout. 1:04 to go in the first quarter. No score. North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. The Hawks have a 2nd and 4 from the Raider 15. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side for J.P. here. Joe Young out of the shotgun. Quyon Muse to his right. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back, now rolls right, and he'll throw it right towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Nobody really there in the area. Devin Folks was the closest one, but he was behind Sean Berhini and Amir Alderman. So it'll be 3rd down for the Hawks. 3rd and 4 from the 15. Last year, J.P. Stevens beat the Raiders 23-14. Before that, the Raiders had won the previous 2 meetings. In this series that J.P. Stevens leads 11 games to 10, neither team has won more than 3 in a row. Folks lined up wide to the right. Muse behind Joe Young here out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, and he'll go ahead and try to pitch it back. Loose ball, fumble, and J.P. falls on it. Nadal Bunton fell on it. Looked like Young tried to pitch it backward, but lost the handle. Nadal Bunton, who has actually doesn't have a touchdown in the year. The ball spotted at the 18-yard line, so a loss of 3. So you're looking at 4th and 7 now from the 18. Stevens will go for it here with 15 seconds left in the first. Most likely the final play of the quarter. As DeCirio went in motion, we get a whistle, flags down, timeout from the Hawks. So J.P. Stevens and head coach Joe Riggi using his 2nd timeout here in the first quarter. With 8 seconds left to go in the first. No score, North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
This week at Restoration Place, Scars by Minister Thomas Gilbert.
Sometimes we're not going through things because of something that we did wrong. Sometimes it's just a test. Can you suffer with me? Can you find the fellowship in this suffering? Will you still be there with me, or do you just want me for the stuff?
Restoration Place, every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern at jamesisking.com.
Yep, every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, Restoration Place on the network at jamesisking.com. All right, 8 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. No score. 4th and 7 for the Hawks from the North Brunswick 18-yard line. Trips to the right here for J.P. Stevens. Quam Hughes to the right of Joe Young. Young takes the snap out of the gun, rolling right, and avoids one tackle, sidesteps another. No, he has tackled Samud Wingo. Able to make the stop at the 20-yard line.
First down, Raiders.
So Wingo gets the sack. J.P. Stevens. Again, this was officially their first red zone trip. And turn it over on down. So the 1st and 10 North Brunswick from their own 20-yard line. 2 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Here in a scoreless game. Christian Petrillo, 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, dropping back, looks, throws it here to the near side, and caught by Manny Herrera at the 25, tackled at about the 28, and that'll end the quarter. Jesse Shaluli on the tackle for J.P. Stevens, and that'll do it for the first quarter. So, 1 quarter in the books, no score. North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. We will take our next break. And we'll come back with the second quarter in a moment. This is Raiders Football on the King James Radio Network.
Dana and Lisa here from Our Turf Football to tell you that the Our Turf podcast is up and running for the 2017 football season.
Did you know that women make up over 45% of all NFL fans and counting? Here at Our Turf, we have our own take on what's happening around the National Football League with special features, previews, reports from our official fan reporters covering each team, and interviews with players and personalities who have the scoop on what's happening. Women are in the know when it comes to football, and it's time the rest of the world knew it too.
Our Turf Football is every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
All right, we come back. Raiders will have a 2nd and 1 from their own 29-yard line. No score to start the second quarter. Christian Petrillo out of the shotgun, bunch formation to his left, takes the snap, rolling left. Chich looks, throws it left, completes it along the sideline there to Amir Alderman. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 35. So Alderman on the catch. Tackle made by Jordan Miller, number 8 for J.P. Stevens. Gain of 7. 1st and 10 now from the 36. Petrillo will work out of the gun here. Bailey to his right, takes the snap. He'll run right, 35, 40, 45. Tackle from behind. Ball popped loose at the 47. Fumble. And J.P. Stevens might have it. They do. Petrillo was hit from behind at about the 47-yard line. Up with the football is Jesse Shaluli. So first turnover of the night for the Raiders. And it puts J.P. Stevens at the Raider 47. So now we'll see if the Hawks can take advantage. We've got 2 wides to the left. DeCirio in the backfield along with Muse. DeCirio's in front of Young. Muse behind him. Out of the shotgun and fakes the handoff. Now pitches it to DeCirio. He drops it and he'll fall on it back at the JP 49. So the football a hot potato at the moment. Loss of 3. 2nd and 13 now from the 49. So glad you're with us at jamesisking.com. So it'll be second down. As Young will work out of the shotgun here, takes the step, 3-step drop, throws it over the middle, has got a man, no, tipped and incomplete. Actually, he went to the left. Bailey knocking that away. I thought he had a man open across the middle, but he went left instead, looking for Matt Zranchev. But Miles Bailey on the coverage. So it'll be third down. 3rd and 13 now from the 49. So both teams trying to get their offenses on track here. Folks is wide to the left. Muse in the backfield. DeCirio in motion, and the pitch will go to Muse. He'll come to the near side, 45-50. Brahini making the tackle at the Raider 49. Lana Dolo also in there, the junior transfer from Newark Central. Only a gain of 2 on that. So 4th and 11 from the Raider 49. J.P. Stevens will punt here. Amir Alderman back deep for North Brunswick, standing at his own 18-19, walking upward. He's trying to get us, now he's coming towards the sideline. And now he drifts back. He better hurry up. J.P. Stevens is going to snap this thing. They do. And a high kick. And it's a short kick. It'll bounce J.P. Stevens' way across the 30, down at the 29.
21-yard kick. Raiders will take over at the 29-yard line.
So North Brunswick will have it 1st and 10. Joey Young was the one who punted that away. So it'll be 1st and 10 Raiders from their own 29-yard line with 9:49 to go in the first half. No score. So Christian Petrillo with 4 wide receivers, really. Now coming in motion to the near side here is Alderman. He takes the handoff, tried to pitch it back to Bailey. He picks it up off the turf, spins, and is tackled in the backfield. Broken play there. Matt Zranchev on the tackle for J.P. Stevens. So luckily for North Brunswick, that's only a loss of a couple there, a loss of 2. 2nd and 12. So Raiders trying a reverse there, didn't quite work out. 4 wide receivers here, 2 to each side. Bailey to the right of Petrillo out of the gun on 2nd down and 12 from the 27. Petrillo takes the snap, quick throw here to the right. It's caught, but incomplete. Intended for Aaron R. Kasai Hazard on the coverage for J.P. Stevens. So that brings us to 3rd and 12 from the 27. With 9 minutes to go in the second. Manny Herrera's in there. Amir Alderman, they go out to the right. Aaron R to the right as well. So 5 wides here. Trips to the right, empty backfield. Petrillo will work out of the gun here on 3rd and 12. And now Bailey in motion. And fakes the handoff to Bailey. He'll throw it across the middle. Too high, incomplete. Late flag comes in at the end. They're going to call a late hit here on Matt Zranchev as he really put the hit on Amir Alderman. So it looks like they're going to call the late flag here on Zranchev. Yep, personal foul. They're going to call a late hit against a defenseless receiver there. And it'll be 15 yards on a Raider first down. So the Raiders get new life here. And that pass was over the head of Alderman. There was no way he was going to catch it. And they'll bring it all the way to the 48-yard line. Or checked out, sorry, the 43-yard line. So 1st and 10, North Brunswick from the 43-yard line. 8:55 to go in the first half. Bunch formation here to the right for Petrillo. Bailey in the backfield to the left. Petrillo out of the shotgun, hands off to Bailey. He goes off tackle right, spins his way to midfield, and he is tackled there. Jared Martinez on the tackle. And it'll be 2nd down, gain of 7, 2nd and 3 from midfield. And now coming in, well, Petrillo comes in from the sideline after getting this play from Pushawn Brown. Bailey to the left. 2nd down here. Petrillo out of the shotgun, rolling left, trying to get out of trouble here. He's being chased towards the near sideline, midfield, and out of bounds. Here to the near side left. Frank DeCirio chased him out. Petrillo did good just to get back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to give him a gain of 1. They're going to give him a gain of about 1.5. So 3rd and a long 1, we'll call it. From the 48. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, and he's going to be stopped back at the line of scrimmage. So not much doing there. Number 63, Brandon Bardaquin on the stop for J.P. Stevens. If I heard correctly, I heard Samad Wingo was shaken up somewhere along the way. But it'll be 4th down, and what do we got? Referee blowing the whistle from the sideline, and the Raiders call a timeout.
Timeout, Raiders.
So North Brunswick calls a timeout. 4th and 1 from the J.P. Stevens 48. 7:29 to go here in the first half. No score. And we'll take our break, and we'll come back with Raiders football, and it's on the King James Radio Network.
This week at Restoration Place, Scars by Minister Thomas Gilbert.
Sometimes we're not going through things because of something that we did wrong. Sometimes it's just a test. Can you suffer with me? Can you find the fellowship in this suffering? Will you still be there with me, or do you just want me for the stuff?
Restoration Place, every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern at jamesisking.com.
All right, we come back. So just a note, no, nothing's wrong with Samad Wingo. Samad. See, it's spelled Samud, but it's pronounced Samad. So someone just wanted to, send a note to the press box. Conscientious people in the stands. Let me look at we've got pretty much a full house. The marching band over to the left. 4th down and 1 from the 48 with 7:29 to go in the first half. No score. Trips to the left for Christian Petrillo. Bailey in the slot right. So Petrillo, empty backfield, and now Alderman in motion out of the shotgun. Hands off to Alderman, cuts it up the middle, close to a first down. Devin Folks on the stop, but it is a first down for Alderman. So the Raiders have a first down at the J.P. Stevens 46-yard line, gain of 2 for Alderman. Aaron R.Y. to the right, Manny Herrera slot right. Bailey to the right of Petrillo. From the 46, Chitch out of the shotgun, takes the snap, quick throw to the right, got Herrera, and breaks one tackle, and breaks another, still fighting for yards at the 40, and forward progress, they're pushing the pile, refs haven't blown the whistle, he's still going, Herrera crossed the 35, crossed the 30, and he is down around the 27. Manny Herrera with superhuman strength on that one. The refs never blew the whistle, so Herrera just kept going.
Nice effort by Herrera.
J.P. Stevens and Joe Riggi can't be happy with that. So gain of 23, 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line with 6:40 to go in the half. Brandon Outlaw checking in for the Raiders here. Amir Alderman wide to the left. And we get a whistle and a timeout. North Brunswick will call their second timeout of the half. So 6:28 to go here before halftime. No score. North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens will be back on the King James Radio Network. Off the timeout, each team with one timeout remaining. 6:28 to go in the second quarter here. No score. Christian Petrillo out of the shotgun, hands off to Miles Bailey. He goes sidestepping up the middle. Just kind of skips his way across the 20 to about the 18. Number 57, Chad Opoku. In on the stop. So ball is spotted at the, looks like the 17, gain of 6, 2nd and 4th, the 17-yard line, 5:57 to go in the half. Split backfield, Bailey to the left and Quanadola to the right. He'll hand off to Bailey, Will Petrillo, and Bailey still moving and close to a first down here. Tackle made by Matt Zranchev. Looks like they'll spot this at the 12-yard line, and it is indeed a first down. So 1st and 10 from the 12. And this is by far the closest. Well, actually, the Raiders were at the J.P. Stevens 8-yard line earlier in the half. Split backfield, Petrillo out of the gun, hands off to Bailey behind him, and now Bailey 8-5, touchdown North Brunswick Raiders. Off left tackle. Page 6 of the bailout plan from Miles Bailey. Bailey's 6th rushing touchdown of the year gives North Brunswick a 6-0 lead, pending the extra point. A 12-yard run. Miles Bailey's been breaking tackles left and right this year. No different there. Junior Aaron R. for the extra point. Christian Petrillo to hold. Petrillo made a nice improv play last week on a botched snap on the extra point. R, though, kicks this one right through. So with 5:29 to go here in the second quarter, the Raiders are on the board. They lead it 7-0 over J.P. Stevens. We'll take a break, and we'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
This is David Straminsky. Raiders football is on your radio at jamesisking.com.
Back to Raiders football with 5 minutes, 29 seconds left in the second quarter. The Raiders are on the board from a 12-yard Miles Bailey touchdown run, his 6th rushing TD of the year. 7-0 North Brunswick. Aaron R. will kick it from right to left. 3 men back deep here for Stevens. He'll squib this one, and it'll bounce all the way to about the 21-yard line, taken there, and going up the middle to about the 37, it looks like, before he is tackled. Quion Muse. J.D. Macelis along with Jose Rosado on the stop. So ball spotted at the 37, so it'll be 1st and 10 J.P. Stevens from there with 5:22 left to go in the half. So Quan Muse in the backfield here on first down. Dan Resigliano wide to the right. Joey Young out of the shotgun, and this time he will keep it himself, but he is wrapped up, ball loose, fumble, and falling on it in the backfield is Nadal Bunton before Manny Herrera could get to it. So that's a couple of times now as Stevens has almost lost it, and Bunton has recovered both times. Ball back at the 24-yard line. Loss of 13, 2nd and 23. With 4:48 left in the half. Bunton wide to the right.
Second down, 19.
And Young out of the shotgun with Muse to his left. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Muse, keeps it himself, tries to go right tackle, and He will be tackled just short of the 30-yard line. Tyshawn Parson on the stop for the Raiders. And we have a flag down on the play. Oh, looks like it's holding against J.P. Stevens. So holding against the Hawks will bring this one back. We may have to reset the game clock here. We'll see.
That'll back him up 10 yards.
So, ball will be moved back here. Yep, it's holding against J.P. Stevens. And it'll come back to about the 16-yard line. So you're looking at second and 31, 30, 31. Semantics. 4:19 to go in the half. 7-0. Raiders in front. So I don't think you have a play in the book for second and 31, but we'll see what JP comes up with. Young with Muse to his right out of the shotgun. Takes the snap and goes to Muse here. He'll go around the edge left, trying to go around Straminski. And David catches up to him at about the 22-yard line. Quyon Muse. So looks like a gain of 6. So you're looking at 3rd and 25. 3rd and 25 from the 22 with 3:37 and counting before halftime. Of course, this is homecoming, so an extended halftime where the North Brunswick Marching Band will be on center stage, along with Homecoming King and Queen. But out of the shotgun is Young, low snap, he got it, and he's going to look, throws it over the middle, no, almost incomplete. Quana Dolo, he wanted it, and he almost had it. That's the second time the Raiders have almost picked one off. It'll be 4th down. 4th and 25 from the 22 with 3:16 left in the half. Amir Alderman back deep for the Raiders. He will be on his side of the field at the Raider 45. It's been alternating punters for J.P. Stevens here. Gaetano Nigro once again back there to punt. His second punt. Joey Young punted on the last one. But Nigro gets the snap. High but short kick. And this will drop and take a J.P. Stevens bounce. Not much, though. It'll go to the Hawks 49. And Frank DeSerio will touch it there. So, North Brunswick will have it 1st and 10 at the J.P. Stevens 49 with a chance here to extend their lead at 7-0 right now. Raiders have one timeout and just over 3 minutes to work with. So, Christian Petrillo in the offense. Amir Alderman wide to the left. Sean Berhini slot right. 4 wide receivers here. Bailey to the left of Petrillo. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap. And Chich looks. He's got a little time. Now runs, coming to the near side. 45. Stiff arms a man at the 50. Out of bounds. Maybe back at the line. The line of scrimmage. Junior Marsola chasing Petrillo. Looks like no gain there. 2nd and 10 from the J.P. Stevens 49. 2:57 the clock is stopped at before halftime. Aaron R. wide to the right. Amir Alderman slot right. Miles Bailey slot left. Coming in motion is Alderman, and we get a whistle and flags down. Alderman was coming in motion to the near side, but false start against North Brunswick. You know, that's one of the bugaboos for the Raiders this year is the penalties. This one will come back. It'll be at the Raider 46. So 2nd and 15. Still 2:55 remaining before halftime. North Brunswick 7, JP Stevens nothing. Aaron R. wide to the right. Split backfield here. Juanadolo to the left. Bailey to the right. And hand off to Bailey. And he'll go to left 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Dragged down at the 25-yard line. Another big run from Miles Bailey. Junior Mersola saved the touchdown.
Raiders first down.
So Bailey going left. It's a first down at the 24-yard line. So gain of 28 on that. 1st and 10 from the JP Stevens 24. Petrillo split backfield. Actually triangle formation, and now hands off to Bailey off left tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown North Brunswick Raiders. Page 7 of the bailout plan from Miles Bailey. Touchdown number 7, second game in a row. He's had 2. And the Raiders now lead at 13-0. So Miles Bailey opening up the bailout plan. Pages 6 and 7 tonight. Aaron R for the extra point. Petrillo gets that spot down, and it's up. And it is good. 2:28 left to go before halftime. And the Raiders now lead at 14-0. We'll take our break here, and we'll come back to Steve Lebro Field in just a moment. It's Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. Well, if you heard Mike Cipot in our pregame, he talked about the fact that he wanted to have a big lead at halftime and not have to worry about making adjustments so that the homecoming king can do his thing. Well, he'll have that opportunity if the Raiders can hold it here for 2 minutes and 28 seconds, leading 14-0. Aaron R. will kick it 3 men back deep for Stevens. A line drive caught at the 24, going left to the 30 is Devin Folks at the 40 and tackled at about the 43. So Folks on the return. And the Hawks will have it 1st and 10. So 1st and 10 for the Hawks at their own 43-yard line with 2:20 to go here in the first half. North Brunswick 14, JP Stevens nothing. The Hawks do have 1 timeout left. Whistle before the snap here. Looks like the refs just want to reset. So 1st and 10 from the 43. Young out of the shotgun, Muse behind him. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Muse, pitches it here to Nadal Bunton, but he is back, wrapped up. Samad Wingo.
For the tackle for a 5-yard loss.
Got to make sure it's Samad. Loss of 4. Samad has been a big factor for the Raiders this year. He was put into the starting lineup after the first couple of games.
2nd and 14, JP Stevens.
So 2nd down and 14. Bunton really has not gotten going here for the Hawks. It's been a combination of Muse, Bunton, and Young trying to run the football. 2nd and 14 from the 39. 2 wide receivers left. Young out of the gun. Takes the snap. Rolling left. Here comes Brahini, and Wingo throws it left, and it's incomplete. Brandon Outlaw almost picked that off. Intended for Bunton. Flags down in the area of defensive holding. Let me see.
Holding against defense.
Yep, that's what it is. Defensive holding against the Raiders, which will be an automatic first down. So we'll see where they spot the ball here.
Automatic first down for JP Stevens.
Second down. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Second down. That's my fault. I thought defensive holding was an automatic first down. So Ball spotted at the 50. So that makes it 2nd and 3. So DeCirio in motion. Young takes the snap, pitches to Muse. He goes left, trying to get to the outside towards the sideline. Steps out of bounds in front of David Strominski. I should have told our PA announcer here, never listen to me. Mr. Chesler knows that all too well. No gain on the play. And it'll be 3rd down and 3. $1:28 to go in the half. 14-0 Raiders. Out of the shotgun, here's DeCirio's in motion. Young takes the snap. He'll pitch it to Muse. Now pitches it back to Bunton. Going left side here, 50, and is knocked down at the 47. Nadal Bunton.
Very close to the first down.
Looked like Tyshawn Parson got a hand on him there.
4th down.
It's going to be close. Let's see if they measure this. Yep. Timeout Raiders.
Timeout Raiders. Sorry.
And so ball is spotted near the 47-yard line. The Raiders call their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 14-0 North Brunswick. 1:09 to go in the second. We'll break. We'll come back on the King James Radio Network. On 4th down and inches from the 47, Joe Young takes the snap, but Dolo has other ideas, and he gets the stop in the backfield and turns J.P. Stevens over on downs. Another big tackle for the transfer from Newark Central, Dolo. A solo from Dolo gives the Raiders the ball back. And the Raiders will have it at the J.P. Stevens 48-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 with 1:04 to go in the half. The Raiders lead at 14-0. Empty backfield here for Petrillo, and takes the snap. And here comes the rush. Petrillo avoids one tackle, coming to the near side left, and throws it away. Incomplete. So now 2nd down and 10 from the 48 with 55 seconds left to go in the first half. So we'll see if North Brunswick can extend their lead here. So 2nd down and 10 from the 48. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Bailey to the right of Petrillo, out of the gun, takes the snap, backing up, and he's going to be sacked. Devin Folks gets Petrillo all the way back at the Raider 35. It looks like they're going to stop Chich's quote-unquote forward progress at the 42, and J.P. Stevens calls a timeout. So the Hawks call a timeout with 42 seconds left in the half because they want to give themselves a chance to get the ball back to try to score here. So that's a loss of 10. Look at the 3rd and 20 from the 42. So, for the Raiders, you just don't want to lose any more yardage and pin yourself back here if you have to punt. So both teams out of timeouts now for the first half, as J.P. Stevens has just used their last. So you're looking at 3rd and 20 from the 42. Split backfield here, and we get a whistle. I think I just saw a false start signal, but we'll wait for the official. Yep, false start against the Raiders. Well, that makes it 3rd and 25 now from the 37. And I just got finished saying the Raiders don't want to lose any more yardage. I just finished saying you don't want to lose yardage here and have to pin yourself back to try to punt. So triangle formation around Petrillo here. On 3rd and 25. Nikhil Jarawala in the game. He's to the left of Petrillo, Dolo to the right, and Bailey behind him. Petrillo calling signals out of the shotgun, and he'll hand off to Bailey straight up the middle, 35-40, 45-50, to the left side, 40, 30, 25, stutter step to the 20-yard line. Another big run from Miles Bailey. Bailey just continues to amaze. On 3rd and 25, just hand the ball off to Miles Bailey, and that's it. Not only did he get a big gain, but it stops the clock with 10 seconds left in the half. Raiders will try to go for the end zone here. 1st and 10 from the J.P. Stevens 20-yard line. So a gain of 43. Petrillo has the ball rolling left, and will try to run towards the sideline here, out of bounds at about the 17 with 4 seconds left in the half. So the Raiders have time for one more play.
Petrillo for no gain.
Nope, they won't give him that. They'll say no gain. All right, so 2nd and 10 from the 20. And Aaron R. is going to attempt a field goal here. By the way, the Raiders have not made a field goal since 2010. Aaron R.'s first field goal attempt of the season will be from 37 yards. Snap, spot, it's got the distance, off the left upright.
Aaron R. for 37, just off the goal post. No good.
Off the left upright.
Clock never started. On a snap.
And now it's a matter of, okay, so the clock did not start on that play, so it looks like they're just going to run off the 4 seconds, and that'll do it for the first half. So Aaron R. missing the 37-yard field goal. That would have gave the Raiders a 17-0 lead, but they'll take a 14-0 lead into the locker room here at halftime. So a couple of Miles Bailey touchdowns. Another big night for number 2. And the Raiders lead at 14-0 at the half. Coming up right now at halftime, we talked to Greg Machos of GMC Gridiron. We talked to him about what's impressed him, some of the things that have impressed him, some of the teams that have impressed him here at the midway point of the regular season. So we kind of, take a quick look around the 3 divisions of the Greater Middlesex Conference, red, white, and blue. And we talked to Greg about that. Also coming up at halftime, you will hear from Graham Randall, who is the goalkeeper for the North Brunswick boys soccer team, after the Raiders had a big 1-0 win over Edison yesterday, sending them to their 10th win of the year. They are now 10-3 as they are in the defense of their GMC championship. So we'll talk to goalkeeper Graham Randall at halftime as well. But in the meantime, with the Raiders leading at 14-0, here is my conversation with Greg Machos of GMC Gridiron, again talking about his impressions of the first half of the high school football season.
We're here at halftime as the Raiders and the J.P. Stevens Hawks do battle, and with me on the phone is Greg Machos of GMC Gridiron, who covers the GMC football, goes around to various games throughout the county, throughout the conference, and does a great job with the video in terms of splicing the videos to it's kind of like if you ever see like a Knicks rewind on MSG, it's kind of like that. He's able to put it successful plays together for the entire game, and you can watch it in like roughly a half hour's time. But got Greg here because we're going over midway through the season, almost just about midway through the season for most teams. And Greg, I was going to ask you, in your travels so far this year and in the games that you've covered, which GMC team has impressed you the most thus far?
Well, I mean, we've seen of the first few weeks of the season, we've seen 13 of the 25 teams that play football in the conference. Most of them, actually, all of them have really been in the white and the blue. We've seen 6 in the blue and 7 in the white. This weekend, I'm probably going to start seeing some red division teams. We're going to see New Brunswick on Friday night, and we're going to see Monroe on Saturday afternoon. That's at least the plan of what I'm going to try to do this week as far as varsity goes. With that said, I would say right now, in terms of the Blue Division, I think South River is pretty much the most dominant team in that division right now. They have beaten probably the three toughest teams that they're going to probably play on their schedule in Middlesex, Bishop Bar, and Spotswood right off the bat. So really, unless something catastrophic happens, I really think South River is going to win the division. The thing about South River that really impresses me, for a small school, they're Group 2 in football. They have a very talented junior class. Mike Cipot is one of the leaders of that class. He's their quarterback. Great arm, can run, can scramble, and he's got good receivers with Terry Outlaw Jr. and Travis Thomas. And they also have other targets as well. Billy Drum's a running back. Trenton Belitsky is another running back. They are loaded at the junior level, and that's not only the case for football, it's also the case for basketball. They have they have so many weapons offensively with Thomas and Outlaw as receivers and also as kick and punt returners. They could score points almost at any time. That's how good they can be. And it's very difficult if you're trying to kick away from one of those guys on special teams. You're going to have to deal with the other guy, or you're going to have to kick the ball out of bounds and give them the ball at the 35-yard line. With that all said, they also have a very good kicking game. They make their extra points. They can make a field goal in an acceptable range of maybe 20 to 25 yards. I think it's pretty reasonable. And they can kick the ball downfield a little bit on kickoff. So those are huge advantages at the high school level, and that's why I think they're definitely going to be a tough team to beat, at least in the Blue Division and maybe in Central Jersey Group 2. I know Central Jersey Group 2 is pretty loaded because they got Manasquan in that division. They played Woodbridge earlier this year. I saw that game. They beat Woodbridge 30-0. Manasquan is usually a powerful team at any group in Central Jersey. They even play South Jersey on occasion, so that's going to be a tough team to beat. There are also some other teams in there that I can't mention off the bat, but South River's got a shot. They got some good weapons there, and I think if they can just, continue to play well, not let their emotions get the best of them, and let their athletic abilities take charge, I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat. In the white division, I really got around to seeing St. Joe's for the first time last week, but I knew going in that they were going to be a very good team. Because they have a very good junior class like South River. Even though they lost some talent from that junior class, they had the kid Johnson that plays now at New Brunswick. He was at St. Joe's as a freshman. Also the McDuffie kid, who I believe is at Somerville, he played at St. Joe's as a freshman. But they still have like Brian Riley, especially on defense. He's very good at linebacker, very hard hitter. Like you said, the other kid from North Brunswick, Olmsted, I believe he's a junior. Jordan Davis is a junior. And obviously they also have some talented seniors as well. Coziello, the quarterback, I believe is a senior. They also have Emmanuel Resto, very good running back. They have a lot of talent. They also have John Sant, a wide receiver, great kicker. Again, like I said, kicking game is very huge at the high school level. It's a very huge advantage. Because if you can make extra points, you can kick long field goals, and you can punt and kick the ball well, that's a huge advantage in field position. And at the high school level, that's at a premium. That's a very, very important skill that I don't think a lot of teams have at the high school level.
No, to me, John Sott.
With them, I think that all those things together, it doesn't really surprise me that I think St. Joe's is in pretty good shape to win the white. Even though the white overall, and I know we talked about it, top to bottom, I would say outside of St. Joe's, it's pretty well balanced because there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the league.
To me, I was going to tell you, to me, John Stott is the most dangerous guy on the field. No matter if he's lining up a wide receiver or if he's kicking field goals, he's the guy. You mentioned Cocoziello and Manny Resto, and they've got other weapons. But you mentioned John Olmsted on the line. But to me, if you can't neutralize John Stott, you're in for a long day.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm just starting to get into the red division this week, but seeing what I have seen so far, at least out of some of the games that I've seen, Piscataway obviously looks really good. even though they lost a lot. Sayreville lost a lot, but they're looking very good. South Brunswick did take a little bit of a hit. They lost to Piscataway, but it was a pretty respectable loss on the road, 28-14. Old Bridge lost to South Brunswick on opening night. It was a pretty lopsided game, but they've come back with wins over Monroe and Edison. They lost to Manalapan last week, but they were very competitive in that game, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's obviously those four doesn't really surprise me. Those are usually the top four teams in that division. The order might be a little different, but obviously the game between Piscataway and Sayreville in Sayreville tomorrow night is going to have a big bearing on who wins that division. Although South Brunswick still has a game with Sayreville on the 21st, so it could go down where if Sayreville beats Piscataway and South Brunswick beats Sayreville, then you have a three-way tie in the division. And also you got to take in consideration Old Bridge is still 2-1, and they still have to play Piscataway and Sayreville. So that division looks to me, out of all the divisions in the conference, looks to me like that's the most wide-open division right now.
Do you have a team that, maybe is off to a slow start, but still can sneak up on somebody in the second half of the season?
I think Old Bridge could. I know Old Bridge has Bimbo at quarterback, replacing Arthur Sikowski, who transferred to the school down in Florida. I can't remember exactly what the school was, but it's like a prep school down there. Old Bridge could be a factor because, again, they still have to play Piscataway and Sayreville on the backside of their schedule in that division. But if you look at the other divisions, I think it's pretty much, unless something dramatic happens to St. Joe's or South River in terms of an injury, I think they're pretty much in the driver's seat. I've seen, if you look at the white division, Carteret I like a lot. Zamar Breaks is a very good quarterback, very big, very tall, can see the field very well, has a pretty good arm. He can run, he can take a hit. Colonia is very good. They have a very good senior class with the likes of Luke Kerr, running back, Matt Zawacki at, I believe, receiver, and Oliver French on their line. And they also have a pretty good quarterback in Tosh Johnson. When they were freshmen, they were undefeated as freshmen. South Plainfield, they have a chance to kind of make things interesting. If they could win that game on Saturday at St. Joe's, they pull within a game in terms of the division standings, in terms of overall record, and division standings with St. Joe's, because they're 2-2 right now. Joe's is 4-0, so if they could beat Joe's, it would be 3-2, and Joe's would be 4-1. There's still a game back, and they would have the head-to-head matchup. But South Plainfield is also dealing with Charlie Lovett being out with the injury he had. He suffered in the Woodbridge game, and they were saying he was going to be out to at least 3 to 4 weeks, might be out even longer. So a lot's going to have to weigh on Zach Del Vecchio. And with St. Joe's defense the way it is, that's going to be a very tough sledding to do it, I think, on the road at St. Joe's.
Yeah, and you know, I think St. Joe's and St. Joe's and Colonia, and you can, Carteret, kind of the dark horse in that division as well. So it's interesting.
I think with Carteret, they lost to North Brunswick. They still have yet to play Colonia and St. Joe's, so that's an advantage for them. But I think if you look at how good St. Joe's is, and Colonia gave St. Joe's a pretty good battle. I mean, they only lost to them 14-6. But I saw St. Joe's play on Saturday against Woodbridge, and I didn't even see the whole game, but you could tell St. Joe's was a much better team. Well, Woodbridge did take took some hits to graduation and such, but I think St. Joe's right now is they're the class of the division. It's going to be awfully tough for somebody to overtake them. They're defending division champions as well. And like I said, they got a lot of talent at the junior level. So, I mean, this year they're good, and I think you're going to probably see more of the same next year when they move down to the blue, when they do that 4 divisional line.
Which is That's a conversation for a whole nother day. Greg Machos, GMC Gridiron, talking with us for a few minutes here at halftime about what's going on around the Greater Middlesex Conference and some of the teams that are standing out right now at pretty much the halfway mark of the season. Greg, thanks a million, and I'll catch up with you. I'll catch up with you again during the season.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm here at Stan Williston Field with North Brunswick goalkeeper Graham Randall after the Raiders come off a big win 1-0 over Edison. And Graham the first question I want to ask you is about that big save you made on the penalty kick there in the first half. Is it just that the pressure doesn't matter? Because there's a lot of pressure there. Obviously, if that goal gets by, it's a different game. So do you just try to stay focused on what's in front of you?
Yeah, I do. My team had faith in me. I had faith in myself, so I just knew I'd come on top in that situation.
Obviously, this was a big game. They were 9-2 coming in. You guys were 9-3, and now the tables are turned here. But going into the game, was this by far the most important game of the year?
Yeah, this is definitely a must-win for the whole program to just turn it around, try to get back up top of the table for this year.
Before the game, Coach Liddy, did he, have you guys doing anything different than what you might normally do?
Actually, before this game, we actually watched game film from old English Premier League games, which we don't usually do, but so that's pretty cool. I think got everyone in the mood, ready to win.
So it paid off?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. You win this one. Was it? It's a two-part question, but was it because they beat you guys earlier in the year? Was that extra special winning this one?
Yeah, it motivated a lot. Losing last time. We just have to come back and win this one.
And aside from that, was it just for yourselves, for you guys, for your own confidence and for your own psyche, important to get the win?
Yeah, I think it was just not for us, the whole school, just trying to get back winning form.
You guys are, defending the GMC championship. Is that different than in past years?
Definitely. This is probably the most pressure this year. Got to repeat what we did last year.
You take over, a goalie, Paul Wachowski was goalie last year. Is there a kind of, do you try to pick up where he left off, or do you try to, make your own name?
I'm trying to make my own name. I know some big shoes to fill, but I know I can do it. My team has faith in me. My coach does, so I'm here to stay.
What? You senior this year?
Yeah, I'm a senior, so I'm here for the rest of the season.
That's right. Is there, obviously, you guys want to repeat as GMC champions, but aside from that, is there any other goals that that you guys are looking at this year?
We're looking for a state championship, definitely.
All right. So, going through the course of the season, how tough is it just to stay healthy? Just to, guys get banged up, guys get hurt. Trying to stay healthy this whole year, how difficult is that?
It's been a long road. A lot of practices, a lot of games, but we have a great trainer, a great coach. He knows what to do. So we're just trying to stay our best.
And you got a handful of games left before GMC tournament where you get a chance to repeat. Is it still one game at a time, or do you have a bigger picture in mind?
It's one game at a time, taking it one step at a time. A win, next win. So just gonna keep going.
And my last one for you is, when this is all over, you still got senior night coming up, right?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah. So, by the way, what is senior night? What does that mean to you? It must be something special to get, before the game or what have you.
It very is. 4 years from the program. It's really meaningful to me. My last big game. So, it'd be really nice.
Yankees, right? Yeah.
What, when it's all over, and whenever you play your last game, what will you look back on, some of your fondest memories of playing soccer?
Probably making the team my first year. I came out, made it, and it was really happy to me. I'm having a lot of fun now, but that first year was something special to me.
Graham Randall, nice enough to stop by for a few minutes. Out again, North Brunswick with a big win over Edison today, 1-0, and now go to 10-3 on the year. So keep it up, and good luck to you guys the rest of the way. Good luck to you guys in GMCs. Thanks for coming over. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we come back here to Raiders football on the King James Radio Network as we get ready for the second half between North Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. A long halftime there with homecoming and all the festivities surrounding that. But the Raiders lead it by a score of 14-0 on a pair of Miles Bailey touchdowns. Bailey, in the second quarter, ran one in from 12 yards out and then ran another one in from 24 yards out. And so Bailey has just been on his game tonight. Unofficially, 15 carries, 148 yards with 2 touchdowns for Miles Bailey thus far. Unofficially. And for the last couple of weeks, it's just been the Miles Bailey show. But Christian Petrillo, 3 of 7 for 40 yards, 6 carries for 2 yards. He incurred a sack that brought down that yardage. Bailey, 15 carries, 148 with 2 touchdowns. Amir Alderman, 2 catches for 17 yards, 1 carry for 2 yards. Manny Herrera, 1 catch for 23. So if you add all of that up, let's see. I have to think. Let's see. The Raiders have 192 yards of offense in the first half. For J.P. Stevens, Joey Young still looking to complete his first pass. He's 0 of 6 for no yards. 4 carries minus 5. He's had a couple of sacks in there. Quyon Muse, 5 carries for 9 yards for J.P. Stevens. So the Raiders have done a good job as far as shutting down the Hawks' running game. Let's see. Nadal Bunton, 3 carries minus 3. Joey Young, 4 carries for 5 yards. So J.P. Stevens has virtually nothing to show for it, on the ground. So the Raiders with a 14-0 lead, plus they get the ball here to start the second half. Three guys back deep here for North Brunswick. Again, the Raiders in their blue jerseys with the white numbers, blue helmets with the double gold stripe, and down the middle, and the player jersey number off to the side. J.P. Stevens, the Hawks, in their white jerseys with the green numbering, white pants, white helmets with the S insignia. As we'll get the kickoff here. And it'll be caught at about the 5-yard line. Coming back up the middle here. This is Miles Bailey, 20, 25, 30, 35, still fighting for yards. And his forward progress will take him to about the 38-yard line. So Bailey, doing it all in the return game as well.
32 yards on the return for Bailey.
So you're looking at 1st and 10 here for the Raiders.
1st and 10 for the Raiders to start the second half.
From their own 39-yard line. So Christian Petrillo and the offense will again look to pick up where they left off. By the way, Christian Petrillo named Homecoming King, I saw. So 1st and 10 from the 39. Split backfield. And we get a flag here. So let's see what that is. Sideline warning against the Raiders, it looks like. Oh, against J.P. Stevens, okay. So sideline warning against Stevens. All right, so here we go. Petrillo out of the gun. Triangle formation, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, and he is knocked down. But check that. That is Brandon Outlaw on the carry. So the junior, Brandon Outlaw, gets it to the 41. So a gain of 2 there. 2nd down and 8. I see Nikhil Jirawala lined up to the right of Petrillo. Quanadolo to the left. Bailey behind Chich. Out of the gun, takes the snap, pitches to Bailey. Bailey will try to cut it back to the left hash, but he'll be stopped. Frank DeCirio, among others, stopping Bailey back at the 40. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Yep, so no gain for Bailey there. It'll be 3rd down and 8 from the 41. At halftime, Bailey was 148 yards. So we'll see if he can get over 200 for the 2nd straight week. Trips to the right here. Petrillo out of the gun on 3rd down. Fakes the handoff to Bailey. Running left. 40, 45 near sideline and forced out of bounds at midfield. Jesse Shaluli pushes him out. And Chich almost pulled off another big 3rd down run. Ball at the 47. That brings it to 4th and 2. And it looks like the Raiders will punt. And yep, Aaron R. will punt it here. So standing back at his own 29 is Devin Folks. R gets the snap, punch this one away. Folks backing up, catches it at the 20, and he'll go to the right hash, 25, 30, back inside, 30 to about the 32. Before he is tackled there. It's like Justin Jenkins, one of the guys getting there.
9 yards on return.
So J.P. Stevens with their opening possession of the second half at the 22-yard line, where it will be 1st and 10. So we'll see what the Hawks come up with here. Joey Young and company. 1st and 10 from the 22, Quan Muse in the backfield. And looked like he wanted to hand it off to Muse, but he wasn't there. He'll run it up the middle to about the 33 before his forward progress is stopped. So not a good look to come out of the locker room. Your first play of the second half. And 2nd down and 8 from the 34. So the Raiders trying to hold it here at 14-0. Folks wide to the right. Muse in the backfield on 2nd down. Young out of the shotgun, and he'll go ahead and keep it himself. But Treminsky pops the ball loose. Fumble. Pile up on the floor or on the ground. Quanadolo says the Raiders have it, and they do.
Raiders recover.
Not sure who got it.
Straczynski knocked it out.
But David Straminsky popped it loose. Might have been Sean Brahini, but I'm not sure. Now, so, yep, it will be Raider football. 1st and 10 from the J.P. Stevens 33-yard line. So, North Brunswick in business. 1st and 10 from the 33. Petrillo out of the shotgun. Takes the snap, dropping back. And he's going to be sacked back at the 40. Brought down Frank DeCirio. So DeCirio on the sack.
Loss of about 7.
It'll bring it back to the 40. 2nd and 17. Loss of 7. So we'll see if the Raiders can get on track. Triangle formation, taking the snap. Hands off to Bailey. Off tackle left, 40. And makes his way down to the 35, now 30. Before being tackled there. Miles Bailey continuing to pile up the yards. Tackled by Jordan Miller.
Carry for 11. Bring up 3rd down and 6.
Ball at the 29. So, yep, gain of 11, 3rd and 6 from the 29. Triangle formation. Petrillo hands off to Bailey. Off tackle left, 30. 25, pushing a man forward. 20, all close to the 20. Well, gets out of bounds. We'll see if that gives them the 1st down.
1st down, Raiders.
It does, inside the 20. So Bailey gets it to about the 18, gain of 11. And it'll be 1st and 10. So Petrillo out of the shotgun, hand off to Brandon Outlaw. He'll try to go left in between the numbers, breaks a couple of tackles, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown, North Brunswick Raiders. Brandon Outlaw.
Raiders 20, J.P. Stevens 0.
First touchdown of the year for the Outlaw, Brandon Outlaw.
That is Brandon Outlaw's first touchdown of the year.
So Outlaw breaking a couple of tackles and busting through. Raiders lead it 20-0. Aaron R. comes on for the extra point. Snap, spot, R, line drive kick. And it is good. And with 8 minutes and 13 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter, It's North Brunswick 21, JP Stevens nothing. We will take our break, and we'll come back here to Steve Lebro Field in just a moment. You're listening to North Brunswick Raiders football, and it's on the King James Radio Network.
Listeners of the King James Radio Network can visit the King James Radio Network shop at jamesisking.com and get $10 off of your purchase with no expiration dates and no limits. Right at the top of the homepage is the My Locker icon. Click and customize your own KJRN gear from there, then use the code listed on the website for your discount. Sweaters, t-shirts, hats, bags, and all kinds of apparel to give you the look of a top-notch team or a top-notch individual. Thank you for checking out the KJRN shop at My Locker, only at jamesisking.com.
Well, the Raiders have taken control of this game after the turnover, after the I can't say a strip fumble, but David Straminsky knocking the ball loose on that last possession, forcing a Raider turnover. And giving it to the offense where Brandon Outlaw runs it in from 11 yards out. Squib kick from Aaron R. here on the ensuing kickoff. And bobbled by Folks, and he'll get to the 30. Ball popped loose as he goes down. Fumble. Ball still on the ground. And who's got it? It looks like it's J.P. Stevens. That ball popped loose right out of the hands of Folks. And the Hawks get it back. That's the third time tonight that the Hawks almost lost a fumble. They've lost one and almost lost another three. So 1st and 10, J.P. Stevens from their own 24-yard line.
1st and 10, J.P. Stevens from the 24.
With 8:02 left in the third quarter, and the Raiders now lead at 21-0. So Young, with Muse behind him, Bunton to the right, out of the shotgun here. Will take the snap, low snap, fakes the handoff, now pitches it to Bunton. He goes left, 25 to the 30 on the far side, and Brandon Outlaw throws him down at about the 37.
Hits the button. 12-yard run, that's a first down.
Dow Bunton. So ball at the 37, 13-yard gain. Brandon Outlaw has done a nice job on defense for the Raiders this year. Kept him in bounds, which keeps the clock running. 7:46 to go in the third. Again, the Raiders lead at 21-0. If memory serves, the last time the Raiders won by this margin, you have to go back to 2014. As Young, out of the gun, takes the snap and drops back, looking, throws it deep ball over the middle, and it's intercepted! Brandon Outlaw with the pick. This has been the Brandon Outlaw third quarter. Outlaw with a touchdown and now an interception. That's Outlaw's second interception of the year. Remember, he got the interception to seal the deal in the Carteret game to give Mike Cipot his first win. So Outlaw comes through again. Second turnover for J.P. Stevens. And Joey Young's fifth interception of the year. So the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard line. Petrillo will work under center here. Or check that out of his gun. Triangle formation. Takes the snap. Throws it over the middle for Brahini. Too high. Incomplete.
Incomplete pass for Brahini.
Matt Zranchev on the coverage. So trying to get Sean Brahini involved. Brahini, two-sport athlete, football and baseball. 2nd down and 10. Amir Alderman wide to the left here. Triangle formation around Petrillo. And Chich, high snap, and brings it down, hands off to Bailey, and gets to the 35. Well, the line of scrimmage, basically. Yep, no gain there. 3rd down and 10 from the 36. If the Raiders can keep this lead, I'd say about going to about midway through the fourth quarter, we'll see how long the starters will stay in. But, again, still some football left to play here. Trips to the left. On 3rd down, Petrillo, 3rd and 10 out of the shotgun, taking the snap. And rolling left. He's going to run it, looks like 35, and stood up at about the 37. Tackle made by number 62 for J.P. Stevens. See the roster here? It's in alphabetical order and not numerical order, so it takes me a hot second to find number 62, but I'll find it. And I have his name here. I know I do. But it's fourth down. Ball back at the 37, so gain of 1. Aaron R will punt. And a high kick. Fair catch called by Folks at the 31. So it'll be Stevens' ball at the 31-yard line with 5:59 to go in the third quarter. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens nothing. In case you're wondering, the last time that the Raiders had a shutout victory, you have to go back to 2011, October 28th against JFK. So 1st and 10 here for Stevens from the 31. Young hands off to Muse, and he's stopped in the backfield. Strominski right there. The straight stop from Strominski. And the Raiders are not letting J.P. Stevens run the football at all. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12 from the 29. Yeah, in that game, October 28, 2011, the Raiders won that game 28-0. So that's the last shutout victory they have. Out of the gun, Young takes the snap and hands off. Going off left tackle is Muse. Looks like Alex Rossman, among others, on the stop. Rossman, the senior. Senior night coming up for the Raiders' next home game, which will be November 3rd against Woodbridge. The Raiders do not have another home game in the month of October. Ball to the 30, 3rd and 11. I know this, J.P. Stevens has to be disappointed here after scoring 28 against JFK last week. As out of the shotgun, this will be Young back to pass, throws it across to the left and got bunted at the 40, 45, 50, and breaks a tackle, 45. Dolo trying to bring him down at about the Raider 43. Nadal Bunton on the catch and run. And I think that's the biggest play of the night for Stevens. At least the biggest pass play. And as a matter of fact, that is Joey Young's first completion. He was 0 for his first 7 before that completion. But ball at the Raider 42. That's a gain of 28. 1st and 10 for Stevens. Resigliano wide to the right. Folks wide to the left. Young in the shotgun here with Muse to his left. Takes the snap and keeps it himself after the fake handoff to Muse, but the Raiders aren't buying. David Strominski right there to get him at the line of scrimmage. Got away from Tyler Hernandez for just a second, but Strominski right there to wrap him up. Gain, looks like he got a gain of 1 to the 41. So 2nd down and 9. Yeah, it kind of tells you with J.P. Stevens behind 21-0, they're not really throwing the ball, so kind of tells you, where things are at offensively. 2nd down and 9 from the 41. Trips to the right. Out of the gun, Young. Quick throw to the right, and Bunton on the flat, and 40, and down at the 37, it looks like. Kwana Dolo makes the tackle. They'll spot it right at just about the 37-yard line there. So that's a gain of 4. 3rd and 5. So, J.P. Stevens is trying, some short passes. Just trying to move the ball here. Resigliano wide to the left. 2:48 left in the third. 21-0 North Brunswick in front. 2 touchdowns from Miles Bailey and 1 from Brandon Outlaw. Young with Muse behind him, out of the gun, takes the snap and pitches it to Bunton, 40, 35 to the far side, and avoids a tackle. Went right around Bailey there, 30 to about the 25, inside the 25. That's a first down. Nadal Bunton. I saw he was named J.P. Stevens Athlete of the Week by the Hawks Athletic Department. 13-yard gain for Bunton. First and 10 from the 24 now with 2:25 to go in the third. 2 wide receivers right here for the Hawks. Young with Muse behind him, out of the shotgun, takes the snap. This time he'll hand off to Muse, goes up the middle towards the 20. Hernandez trying to grab him. So, ball is spotted at the 20-yard line. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6 from the 20. 1:56 left in the third. If Stevens scores here, we get a timeout. I'm not sure who called it. North Brunswick. So the Raiders call time with 1:57 to go in the third quarter. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens nothing. We will break, and we will come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. We come back now off the timeout as the Raiders lead this one by a score of 21-0 against J.P. Stevens. As Stevens tries to get on the board here. It'll be 2nd and 6 for J.P. Stevens from the North Brunswick 20-yard line. Klein Muse in the backfield behind Joe Young. Bunton to the left of the gun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and he'll throw it end zone right side. Trying to make the sliding catch was Ranchev, incomplete. Miles Bailey and Amir Alderman on the coverage for the Raiders. So that brings us to 3rd and 5, or 3rd and 6 from the 20. 1:51 left in the third. And so far, so good here. The Raiders well on their way to their 3rd straight win if they can hold it. Again, it'll be their first 3-game winning streak since 2010. Going in motion is Bunton, and low snap. Young picks it up, pitches to Bunton behind him, and he's going to be wrapped up. Sean Brahini brings him down at the 21. Loss of 1. 4th down here for Stevens. 4th and 7 from the 21. The crowd pretty much still here. Your packed house on the North Brunswick side, and a little bit more scattered on the J.P. Stevens side. You would expect that, being the road team. 4th and 7 from the 21. Very few schools, I think, travel like that, where they pack the other side. 4th and 7 from the 21. Young, out of the shotgun, has the snap, rolls left, avoids 1 tackle, running right, trying to get around Gerald Waller there, or check that Wingo. Inside the 20, does not have a first down. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line, so only a gain of 3 on 4th and 7. And the Raiders will have it. 1st and 10 from the 18. Now, if you're North Brunswick, you have a chance to put the exclamation point on this game. So 1st and 10 from the 18. Petrillo out of the gun, rolling right, and he's going to be tackled. Looked like Devin Folks was able to get to him. So that'll bring up 2nd down. 31 seconds to go. Here in the third. 2nd and 12 from the 16. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, rolling left this time. Throws it left and tried to lead Sean Brahini toward the near sideline. Incomplete. Matt Zranchev on the coverage for J.P. Stevens. You know, I was talking to Sean Brahini in the pregame about whether him and Chich were on the same page. Almost got there on that play. But 3rd and 12 now from the 16. So Petrillo with Bailey to his left. Brahini wide to the left, and he'll go ahead and hand off to Bailey. Goes right, trying to get around the edge. Leaps over a man. Gets towards the far sideline at the 25. So let's see where they spot this. Yeah, I was going to say they're moving the ball back. The line judge looks like he's at the 21, which would give Bailey a gain of 5. Oh, hurdling penalty. So the Raiders were penalized for hurdling there. We said Bailey leaped over a would-be tackler, which you cannot do. So the referees will try to sort this out. 12 seconds left in the 3rd. So it was 3rd and 12 from the 16. They spot it at the 24. So after you sort it all out, they still get 8 yards out of the deal. 4th and 4 from the 24. We had 12 seconds left in the 3rd. Aaron R. will punt, standing at his own 11, and we get a whistle. Folks, don't ask me. I have no idea. Oh, okay, the quarter ran out. They let the quarter. Okay, the quarter ran out. Also focused on R. The quarter ran out. So that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And the Raiders lead it 21-0 over J.P. Stevens here at Steve Libro Field. We will take a break, and we will come back in just a moment. You're listening to North Brunswick Raiders football, and it's presented by the North Brunswick Baseball and Softball Association and Route 1 Dental on the King James Radio Network.
The King James Radio Network is now accepting inquiries this summer to broadcast games on our King James Jr. channel. If you have a youth baseball, basketball, or football game in the state of New Jersey that you want to be heard on the air, please send an email to kingjamesradio1@gmail.com with the date and time that you're looking for, and we'll let you know if we can make it. Inquiries are not guaranteed to be accepted based on a combination of availability and first come, first serve. We look forward to broadcasting your game on King James Jr., a channel of the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
We start the 4th quarter, 4th down. Aaron R. punts this away on 4th and 4, and it will take a bit of a J.P. Stevens bounce. It'll go to the Hawks 49, 40, 48, 48 and a half. Looks like they'll spot it at the 48, so the Hawks will have it to open the 4th quarter. 9 seconds gone by in the 4th. 1st and 10 for J.P. Stevens from their own 48-yard line. So all the Raiders have to do now is pretty much play defense here. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Joe Young out of the shotgun. Here comes Bunton in motion. He gets the handoff on a sweep coming to the near side. Cuts it back at the left hash. Gets to the 50 before Kwana Dolo wraps him up. And Dolo appears to be shaken up here. Dolo is face down on the turf after making that tackle on Bunton. So Kwana Dolo, the injured man here for the Raiders. Gain of 3 to the North Brunswick 49 for Bunton, so it'll be 2nd and 7. As North Brunswick athletic trainer Jackie Morrison will look in on Dolo. So we'll break here, and we'll come back with 11:38 to go in the 4th. North Brunswick 21, JP Stevens nothing. We'll be back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
This week at Restoration Place, Scars by Minister Thomas Gilbert.
Sometimes we're not going through things because of something that we did wrong. Sometimes it's just a test. Can you suffer with me? Can you find the fellowship in this suffering? Will you still be there with me, or do you just want me for the stuff?
Restoration Place, every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern at jamesisking.com.
This is Nikhil Jariwala. Whenever I make a tackle, you're here on the King James Radio Network.
Welcome back to Raiders football here in the fourth quarter. 11 minutes, 38 seconds to go. Kawana Dolo, the injured man for North Brunswick, and it looks like he'll get up here and walk off on his own, well, with some minor assist. Well, no, he'll walk off on his own accord after Jackie Morrison looked in on him. So play will resume with J.P. Stevens having the ball on the North Brunswick 49-yard line. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens nothing. Miles Bailey continuing his dominance. A couple of touchdowns tonight. Brandon Outlaw with his first touchdown. 2nd and 7 from the 49 for the Hawks from the Raider 49. Young will work out of the shotgun here with Quyon Muse to his left. Joe Young takes the snap, hands off to Muse, trying to dance his way across the line of scrimmage. David Straminsky there to wrap him up. So no gain for Muse, 3rd and 7. J.P. Stevens just has not been able to run the football tonight. And this could potentially be the 3rd straight game that the Raiders do not allow a 100-yard rusher. Folks is wide to the left, 2 wide receivers right. Bunton to the left, but in front of Young. Muse is behind him on 3rd down. Takes the snap, and he'll go ahead and keep it. Tries to go right, 50. Sidesteps a tackle, 45, and looks very close to a first down. Flagging at the end of the play. Young to the 41, which looks to be good enough for a J.P. Stevens first down. A flag comes in after the play. It's against the Raiders. The clock official doesn't know what that one is. Okay, personal foul. So personal foul. Personal foul is called. So personal foul moves the ball to the 26-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Young will work out of the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Muse up the middle, and he's gone. Touchdown, J.P. Stevens. Untouched into the end zone is Quyon Muse.
21-6 Raiders.
And that makes it 21-6 pending the extra point.
We didn't score. We didn't score, girls.
10:05 to go here in the 4th. So on for the extra point is Tyler Simoes. Resigliano will hold. Left-footed kick from Simoes. It's high enough, and it's good. So with 10:05 left to go in the 4th quarter, J.P. Stevens on the board. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens 7. We'll break. We'll come back with Raiders football on the King James Radio Network.
Dana and Lisa here from Our Turf Football to tell you that the Our Turf podcast is up and running for the 2017 football season.
Did you know that women make up over 45% of all NFL fans and counting? Here at Our Turf, we have our own take on what's happening around the National Football League with special features, previews, reports from our official fan reporters covering each team, and interviews with players and personalities who have the scoop on what's happening. Women are in the know when it comes to football, and it's time the rest of the world knew it too.
Our Turf Football is every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the King James Radio Network at jamesisking.com.
That's right. Check out the ladies of Our Turf Football on the King James Radio Network every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Dana and Lisa take you through it at jamesisking.com. So 10:05 to go in the fourth. 21-7 is your score. The Raiders lead it. Gaetano Nigro will kick things off here. 3 men back deep. Outlaw to the near side. On the far side is Amir Alderman. And Remy Barbarena, who is the backup quarterback. Remy Barbarena, the backup quarterback. He'll go ahead and catch this one. Nope. Drops it in front of the goal line, and it'll be a touchback. Once he's behind the goal line, it's a touchback. So Barbarena, I was going to say, gets his first action there and couldn't capitalize on it. So it'll be 1st and 10 Raiders from the 20-yard line. Still the 20 in high school, 25 in the NFL. So with 10:03 to go in the fourth quarter, the Raiders will try to put this thing away. Nikhil Jarawala to the left of Petrillo. Dolo to the right, Bailey behind him, out of the shotgun. Petrillo takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, and he gets to about the 20-yard line, or 21 maybe. Tackle made by Shaluli. Yeah, looks like no gain for Bailey. 2nd down and 10 from the 20. Again, triangle formation around Petrillo. Jarawala, Dolo, and Bailey. Raiders might try to run some time off here. Petrillo taking his time. Kind of going back, wiggling back and forth. Taking a while back there. And now gets the snap, hands off to Bailey, trying to go left. And he's going to be stopped, flag down.
Flag down on the play. Bailey on the carry.
And it looks like it's against the Raiders. Let's wait for the actual call. Let's see what we have. It looks like it's holding. Yep. Holding against North Brunswick. That will move them back. Did they decline it? And so, ball at the back at the 20-yard line. So it looks like they declined it. 3rd and 10 from the 20. Petrillo out of the gun, dropping back the pass. Now rolling right, looks, hit as he throws it for R. He's got it. Aaron R. at the 48-yard line. Petrillo hit as he threw. Junior Marsola tried to get Chich, but Aaron R. with Sergey Kim draped all over him. Caught that pass. A big reception for R and the Raiders. It keeps them with the ball and it keeps the clock moving. Gain of 29, 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Bunch formation to the right here. Bailey to the left of Petrillo. 3 guys bunched to the right. R, Alderman, and Herrera. Petrillo taking his time, just pacing back and forth at the moment. Trying to run some time off here. Petrillo out of the gun, takes the snap, and hands off to Bailey, but trying to get to the outside and can't. He's tackled at the 50. Maybe got a yard there before Junior Marsola made the tackle. So gain of 1 for Bailey. Bailey really did his damage in the first half. As Nikhil Jarawala checks back in. Sean Brahini will go to the left. Aaron R. wide to the right, along with Herrera. On 2nd down and 9 from midfield. 7:43 to go in the fourth. Split backfield. Bailey to the left, Jarawala to the right. Petrillo again taking his time. Calling signals here. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands off, going up the middle, flag down. Up the middle was Bailey.
Flag on the play. Looks like it's a face mask against the defense.
Flag came down immediately. Let's see what we have.
Taylor ran for no gain.
Yep, face mask against J.P. Stevens. So let's see if it's a 5 or a 15 here. If it's a 15, it'll be a first down. If it's a 5, then it won't. The referee was about to move the ball.
Holding defense.
Also, defensive holding.
Defensive holding.
All right, so referee still has the ball here. He hasn't moved it forward yet. Now he will. And he will move it all the way down to the 39-yard line. So the Raiders will have a new set of downs. 1st and 10 from the J.P. Stevens 39-yard line. Split backfield around Petrillo. Petrillo out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands off to Bailey on the draw, goes up the middle, gets to the 35, and down at about the 32. Look like Zranchev, Martinez on the stop for J.P. Stevens. Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. More importantly, it keeps the clock moving at 6:57 left in the fourth. J.P. Stevens will have to start using some timeouts, down by 2 scores. The Raiders lead it 21-7 here in the fourth. North Brunswick just under 7 minutes away from their 3rd straight win. Out of the shotgun is Petrillo. Bailey to his right. Alderman slot left. Petrillo taking his time, trying to run a few more seconds off. Alderman comes in motion, gets the handoff, cuts it back inside 30, and is leg tackled at about the 28. Bunton on the tackle for Stevens.
Alderman on the carry. Gets the ball to the 27.
So the Raiders continue to keep it moving.
First down.
Good enough for a first down. Ball is spotted at the 27, it looks like. Gain of 5. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. 2 wide receivers left. Herrera in the slot to the left. This time it's just Jarawala in the backfield. He's to the left of Petrillo. And out of the shotgun, Petrillo takes the snap, and he'll run, trying to go left. 25, back inside 20, and down at about the 17, where Junior Morsola tackled him.
Flag down.
And we get a flag. Nope. Holding against North Brunswick, so that'll come back. With 5:52 remaining in the fourth. So we'll see, when does J.P. Stevens, when do they start to use their 3 timeouts? If the Raiders score here, then it's academic. But until then, of course, you keep in mind there's no 2-minute warning in high school football, so you don't have that to your advantage. And we'll get a timeout here. Oh, well, we just talked about it. J.P. Stevens has decided to use a timeout here. So they're gonna fire their bullets right here and call a timeout. Ball is back at the 39-yard line, so you're looking at 1st and 22 on the other side of the break. 21-7 Raiders. We'll be back on the King James Radio Network.
This week at Restoration Place, Scars by Minister Thomas Gilbert.
Sometimes we're not going through things because of something that we did wrong. Sometimes it's just a test. Can you suffer with me? Can you find the fellowship in this suffering? Will you still be there with me, or do you just want me for the stuff?
Restoration Place, every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern at jamesisking.com. Your radio home for North Brunswick Raiders sports, Timothy Christian basketball, Restoration Place, Wednesday night with NFL female, the Jersey Basketball Association, and more is the King James Radio Network.
We come back to live action with 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens 7. The Raiders have the ball 1st and 22 from the J.P. Stevens 39-yard line. Raiders trying to get their personnel straight. Guys are switching sides here. Amir Alderman to the left. Miles Bailey in the slot right. Petrillo, empty backfield. And now coming in motion. And, botched the handoff there, but Petrillo keeps it. DeCirio will tackle him at the 35. It looked like they wanted to hand it off to Alderman, but J.P. Stevens was right on it. So Petrillo wisely kept it and ran it straight up the middle. So ball at the 35. Now you have 2nd and 18 from the 35-yard line. Clock running with 5:23 to go in the fourth quarter. So again, the Raiders, looking for back-to-back wins at home. 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Petrillo out of the gun, Bailey to his left. And takes the snap and tried to hand off to Bailey. Lost the football, fumble. And Folks falls on it for J.P. Stevens. Not a good exchange there. And Devin Folks recovers it for Stevens. And, J.P. Stevens, which was on life support before that fumble, still has a puncher's chance here with 4:58 left. So 1st and 10 Stevens from their own 37-yard line. So Young will work out of the shotgun here. Takes the snap, and he'll keep it after faking it to Muse. Crosses the 40 to the 45 before Miles Bailey brings him down. We'll see if JP, they're not in a hurry up here with 4:44 to go in the fourth. Now they come out of the huddle. Gain of 8. So we'll call it second and 3. Young out of the gun, takes the snap and hands off to Muse, and he'll get to about the 46. Still a couple of yards short of a first down. So 3rd and 2 from the 46, 4:15 remaining. J.P. Stevens doesn't look like they're in any hurry. They're down by 2 scores. The clock is running. 4:04 to go in the fourth. Wide to the left here is Folks. And now DeCirio switching places. He's to the right, switching places with Bunton. We get a whistle. And J.P. Stevens has to burn a timeout right there, and that cannot be good. If you're Joe Riggi, you're probably a little upset right about now. Timeout number 2 for J.P. Stevens with 3 minutes and 48 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. 21-7 Raiders. We'll break. We'll be back on the King James Radio Network. We'll be back with Lady Raiders volleyball on Monday. Yep, away next week at JFK are the Raiders. 3rd down and 2 from the 46 for J.P. Stevens. Out of the shotgun, Young takes the snap, drops back the pass in the pocket, throws it, deep ball down the middle, and it is incomplete. Miles Bailey on the coverage, intended for Nadal Bunton. And so it is 4th and 2 for Stevens. The only thing that might have saved Stevens here is if they still had that second timeout. But they're down to 1. So it's 4th and 2 from the 46. And for all intended purposes, this is it. Young out of the shotgun, takes the snap, keeps it himself, and actually check that. Yep, he snuck through the pile there, got into Raider territory, somehow snuck underneath all of that, and got it to the Raider 49 on 4th and 2, so that's good enough. Gain of 5, 1st and 10. Young takes the snap, and he'll go ahead and bring it to the 45. So Young trying to put this team on his back here, trying to keep J.P. Stevens in it. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 from the 44 with 3:09 to go in the fourth. Raiders up 21-7. So Muse to the right of Young, out of the shotgun, takes the snap, rolling right, looking, throws it downfield, right sideline, too high for Frank DeSerio, incomplete. With Kawanadolo on the coverage there. It'll be 3rd down. So 3rd and 5 from the 44 with 2:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. But yeah, the last time the Raiders won back-to-back home games would be 2010. They're on the verge of doing it here. It was the first 2 games, I believe, of the 2010 season. They beat Middletown. No, actually, no, I'm wrong about that. They beat Carteret and Perth Amboy. Then they beat South Plainfield and Pennsauken. As Young back to pass, and he is sacked. Back in J.P. Stevens territory, David Straminski and Manny Herrera. Another straight stop from Straminski, along with Herrera. And it's back at the J.P. Stevens 45, which is an 11-yard loss. You're looking at 4th and 16 now from the 45. Clock runs with 2:25 remaining in the fourth. So you're at the point of no return here if you're the Hawks. It's all or nothing. 4th and 16 from the 45. Young drops back to pass, looks, trying to get out of the pocket now, runs 50, 45. He's tackled by Brahimi. Inside the 45, it'll be short of a first down. Wingo makes sure he finishes the job. And that, with the Raiders getting it back on downs, should take care of business here. He got it back to where the line of scrimmage was at the 44. 11 yards on 4th and 16, but the Raiders will take over. And it will be 1st and 10 from the 44. So Petrillo, triangle formation, around him. Looks back at the clock, it looks like. Jarawala to the right, Dogle to the left. He'll hand off to Bailey. Bailey goes to the 45, 46. And that's about it. Zranchev on the tackle. I'm sure J.P. Stevens trying to strip the ball in the process. But Bailey holds on. Gain of 2 for Bailey, 2nd and 8 from the 26. 1:45 remains of the fourth quarter. J.P. Stevens does have 1 timeout. If the Raiders get a first down here, that's pretty much it. There is a play clock. So triangle formation around Petrillo. And out of the gun, Petrillo takes the snap, hands off to Bailey, tries to go right, and spins out a 1 tackle, back up the middle towards midfield. And forward progress, 49, 48. Miles Bailey. To the J.P. Stevens 48-yard line. Clock stops with 1:02 left to go. Flag down. Personal foul against J.P. Stevens. So that'll just add on. It'll give the Raiders a first down, and that will pretty much wrap it up there. That pretty much is the final nail. So gain of 6 for Bailey, tackle on the 15 for the personal. And it'll be at the J.P. Stevens 33-yard line, 1st and 10 with 1:02 to go. And it looks like the Raiders offense will line up in victory formation. Christian Petrillo will go ahead and take a couple of knees here, and that will be that. So Petrillo lining up under center for the first time tonight. And so 3 straight wins as Petrillo takes knee number 1. And may have to take one more. But the Raiders, for the first time since 2010, will have won 3 straight games. Their first back-to-back home wins since 2010. Mike Cipot becomes the first Raiders coach since 1999 to go 3-2 in his first 5 games. And Petrillo takes the second knee, and that is it. The clock is at 0, and this game is over. The North Brunswick Raiders win their 3rd straight game, defeating the J.P. Stevens Hawks 21-7 at Steve Lebro Field. North Brunswick is now over the 500 mark for the first time since 2011. In his first 5 games. So the Cipot era has arrived, and it might be here for a while. The Raiders win it 21-7. Another big night from Miles Bailey. Definitely over 150. I don't think he got to 200 tonight, but definitely over 150 with a pair of touchdowns. And the Raiders do it again. The Raiders keep at the middle of the standings in the GMC White Division, and certainly they were in 3rd place entering tonight in Central Jersey Group 5, should maintain a position somewhere in the top 4 at the very least. Our next broadcast of North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network will be next Friday night, October the 13th. We will be in Island when the North Brunswick Raiders will take on I'm getting my J's mixed up again. The JFK Mustangs will be in Island next Friday night when the Raiders take on the JFK Mustangs. Game time is at 7 p.m. and Raiders Live, our pregame, will be at 6:30. So the athletic director here at MBTHS is Mr. Lou Emanuel, Principal John Patella, and site supervisor Lisa Barkley, and so on and so on and so on. My thanks to head coach Mike Cipot, and we will talk to you next Friday night. Lady Raiders volleyball coming up on Monday. The Lady Raiders will take on Highland Park at 5:30. But until then, this is Corbett Thompson saying goodbye, Godspeed. We thank you for listening to North Brunswick Raiders football on the King James Radio Network. Your final score, the Raiders win their 3rd straight for the first time since 2010. North Brunswick 21, J.P. Stevens 7. You folks have a good night.